Welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. Caden and Leo here. Caden, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Max. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty fine. It's a fantastic Monday for us, as usual. Happy Wednesday to all the viewers. But Caden, as the viewers know, as you know, it's Nuggets time. Let's hop right into it.
So yeah, Nuggets. They've had interesting week. We've had some good, some bad. We're gonna start off with the good. Obviously, they played the Sixers at home the day after we recorded this pod last week. So the day before you guys saw this one last week. Once again, no Joel Embiid. He's injured again. Still hasn't played in Denver since 2019, which is
Correct.
crazy to think about.
We've had 2 new presidents since then, and we've also gone through a global pandemic.
Yep, and Embiid still refuses to play in Denver and face off against Jokic.
Correct.
But in this game, obviously, it's just they're not that good of a team, and they did what they were supposed to. 144 to 109 victory. Jokic was great. Murray was good. Like the whole team was just clicking. So we put up 144 points. Obviously,
Of course.
things are going well, and also holding the Sixers, even though you're still without Embiid. They have Maxey, they have Paul George, they have still shooters and playmakers. So
Correct.
to see this defense perform here was actually good to see.
It was, Caden. And you talk about, when a team is missing their best player, you should go out and smack them by 30. And that's exactly what this Nuggets team was actually able to do finally. And these are the kind of wins that a championship team is expected to have. This is, the kind of blowouts we saw when we made that championship run a couple years ago, Caden. And so if the Nuggets want to continue prolonged success, they need to be able to take care of business and be able to win these games like this and not let the Sixers hang around and not make it close.
Yeah, and then, a couple days later, you play the Kings at home where Jokic had his 5th consecutive game with a triple-double before the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
which is
ridiculous.
Insane. Also, did you see that buzzer beater he made? Like a 75-footer, just nonchalant, chuck it right into the bucket.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic is the greatest athlete in Colorado right now. I know we got Travis Hunter and Shador still in Colorado technically,
And
but
others,
of course, but
Nathan McKinnon, Cale McCarr.
yeah, Nathan, you got your Nick Bonitos and Pat Surtans and everything, but he's 7'1". He can throw, he can pass, he can sometimes dunk.
I just think athletic might be the wrong word.
No, I don't think so. I think we need to start giving credit to the big men, all right? Just because he don't look like he should be able to be successful, he is. That's athleticism, kid.
Yeah, I mean, this game was great from the start. You're putting it down on the Kings. You're not letting Sabonis or De'Aaron Fox really do too much. You're up, I think, like 20 to 25 or whatever going into the fourth quarter. And then you let the Kings start the fourth quarter on a 15-1 run. That's not good. Like you're trying to close, like obviously still win the game. You win the game by 9. But when you're up by 25 going in the fourth, you want to be able to just put it away, let your starters, let Jokic, Murray, and all them sit most of the fourth, not have to bring them back in because your bench unit can't hang with the Kings and let them try to make this big monumental comeback.
Yeah, most definitely, Caden. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head with that one. Points of emphasis, most definitely for the Nuggets moving forward.
This last game, though, on Saturday was a tough watch. It's against the Timberwolves, who the Nuggets have forgotten how to beat. I don't even want to mention that Game 7 because that's still one of the worst basketball games I've ever seen in my life. They haven't beat them at all this year. They've now lost 4 straight against the Timberwolves.
Correct.
And, I mean, this was a weird one because obviously, like we just said with Jokic, he's been insane. He has 11 points in the first quarter. He's 5 of 7 from the field. He only finishes the game 20 points, only 13 shots.
Correct.
Which, when the rest of your team isn't performing, like no one else was really making shots or doing much to help the team. I mean, you got killed in this game. You would think someone like Jokic, what we've seen in the past, especially this year, is he'll step up. He'll take that 30, 35 shots a game. And then tonight, this game, he's like, no, I don't feel like shooting. And well, if he's not going to take many shots and the rest of the team is performing like they did in that game, you're never going to win that game unless you're playing like the Pistons, not the Pistons, the Raptors or the Jazz.
Correct, Caden, and it's frustrating because this is what we've been talking about all year. This team swings. They have big moments and low moments, and it's just so inconsistent. And it's this roller coaster ride this year. It really has been. Because until we get someone who decides to show up consistently and be that second man, it's Nikola Jokic, this Nuggets team's just going to be on the verge, Caden. And I hate to say it, but if they're going to be playing like this when it comes to playoff time, they're going to get bounced in the second round, first round. It's not going to be good.
No.
Someone needs to step up. Someone needs to be held accountable on that team, and they need to figure it out and get going.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing I do want to mention here with the Nuggets is, as we mentioned last couple weeks, Gordon, he's still on his minutes limit.
Yes.
He's only playing he's up to about 20 to 25 minutes a game now. But
Correct.
So with the minutes limit, though, he's still coming off the bench. And because of that, we still have the starting five of Yoke, Murray, MPJ, Russ, and Christian Brown, Christian Brown's really, after he started the year off great, then he had a little slow spurt with the shooting. These last handful of games, in his last 6 games, he has 4 20-point games, which is something you would like to see. He's shooting the ball a lot better. I mean, he started the year obviously really hot. The last couple of games, he's starting to, and just from the field, he's attempting these shots. Because he is one of these better guards where you see he is very aggressive towards the rim. He's good at initiating the contact and finding his way to the rim and get those buckets. And we're seeing it, he took that little time out where it's he also, for one, wasn't shooting as much, but it just doesn't seem like he was as aggressive. Now he's getting that aggressive tendency back. He's getting to the rim. He's making the open threes when Jokic or even Murray or someone's finding him. And it's starting to show in his point production. It's really good to see this now 30-year player really making that more offensive jump.
Hit the nail right on the head, kid.
Next thing we do want to talk about here is the Detroit Pistons, who last year, horrendous season. They have the longest winning streak in NBA history. Losing streak. They had lost 28 consecutive games, which is insane to think about. And I look at this year. Right now, they're 23-22, 1 game above 500, 6-4 in their last 10. Before that, they were on a 5-6 game winning streak. Yeah. And they're the 6th seed in the East right now. They are ahead of the play-in game right now.
There you go.
And it's really something because, as the standings are looking right now in this, we've harped on all year, it's a really weak, bad Eastern Conference. It looks like their floor for this season is at least to make a play-in game, which is a huge step up from what we saw last year. And then you see someone it sucks that Jaden Ivey's now going to be out for the year because he's really, for some reason last year, Monty Williams had him in the doghouse, wasn't giving him minutes when he's a really good 3-point shooter. You're like, no, we're not going to play. Didn't make sense. Now, you got the new staff everywhere. Jaden Ivey was playing great. It sucks he's out for the year. But then you have Cade Cunningham, 25 points a game, 6.5 boards, and 9.9. He's 4th in the NBA in assists, 9.4, shooting pretty good from the field. And it's just him. It seems we've seen him. He was the number 1 overall pick, obviously, out of Oklahoma State. He's he's scoring well. He's obviously been a great passer. The one thing that's still obviously scary with him is the turnovers. He turns the ball over a lot. But that's also because he doesn't have a lot of people to alleviate the pressure off of him. They need, before this trade deadline, which is coming up in about a week and a half. It'll be, about a week and a half from now. It would be nice to see them try to get, a secondary ball handler. You don't need anything crazy. You need someone who can just, kind of come in and alleviate some of that pressure off Cade. So he's not the primary ball handler every single possession of the game, where he also has one of the highest usage rates in the entire league. Get that, and you can really see the go. You have a lot of these other players who, if they were bad, you could have easily seen them being flipped deadline. Tobias Harris, they gave him the bag because why not? They had a bunch of cap space, and Tobias Harris is not a bad basketball player by any means. He's doing his thing. Asard Thompson's looking better in this second year in the league. And then you have Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, who are good 3-point shooters. They're streaky, but they're some of the better 3-point shooters in the league. Just get a second true ball handler into this lineup, and you could really see them. I'm not saying high aspirations or anything, but really start to grow this really young, good-looking core.
Caden, and you talk about a young-looking core. This team, just a year ago, was a disastrous young-looking core. They didn't know how to play with each other, Caden. The spacing was atrocious, and there was just no aggressiveness. They didn't have a killer instinct. Now you get a whole offseason together where you're gelling and you're really trying to learn who you're playing with. You're figuring out each other's strengths. You're figuring out each other's weaknesses. And again, in a weak Eastern Conference, you're able to start putting it together now. You see they're starting to put together, win streaks where they're playing consistent, hard basketball for 4 quarters. And that's something this team didn't have last year. They weren't able to consistently finish out games. And that's why they lost 28 straight. because they would look okay. They would have stretches where you see the talent, you see the explosive plays, but it couldn't be prolonged. It wasn't successful.
Yeah, I think a lot of that did have to do with Monty Williams being the head coach. Like, he'd retired, he was done. And the Pistons are like, no, we're going to give you like 18 a year to be our head coach. Obviously, he's not going to say no to that, but it looked like he didn't know what he was doing with the team. He just wasn't a right fit. Now you bring in JB Bickerstaff, who's really starting to turn this this team around, like really start like play the players that should be playing and not whatever Monty Williams was doing last year.
For sure.
Last thing we want to hit on, though, is we talked about it a couple weeks ago. There was more stuff last week. And now Jimmy Butler has been suspended indefinitely from the Miami Heat.
Caden, we've talked about the saga. I don't even know why you let him come back and play in the first place. We talked about maybe they want to entice, other people.
Yep.
But at this point, everyone knows Jimmy and Miami's relationship's broken. It's torn. You just got to get him out of there. I don't see, okay, you suspended him, whatever. He's basically been gone anyway. He doesn't want to be there anyway. At this point, I think the suspension is just saying we're waiting until we can get him out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he came back from when he was originally suspended for the 7 games, came back, played a couple games, and then he missed a team flight I think it was coming home. And so they're like, okay, here's a 2-game. Or no, it was going to Milwaukee. They were going on a little 2-game road trip. Missed the team flight. They're like, okay, 2-game suspension. You're missing the road trip. Just stay home in Chicago. And then this morning during shoot around, Spo went up and was talking apparently they were telling Jimmy that he's not, they weren't going to be starting him. So he just walked out of practice. Yeah. He just left practice, left the shoot around. And they're like, okay, yeah, you're done with this team. We're going to at least try to find you a suitor, which there obviously will be. People are going to want Jimmy Butler. He's still a really good basketball player. But they're just going to be like, yeah, you stay over here. We're going to try to figure out our new rotation now without having to worry about any of your BS and just get out, try to find this. And it's a really just weird situation we're seeing.
It's such a weird situation, Caden, and you hate to see it because the NBA seems to be the only league where you see this all the time, where players are so often leaving teams, so often in contract disputes, beefing with owners, and just the drama with the NBA players in general. The locker room status, it's so easy for guys to get emotional, go on social media, burn bridges, but it sucks because, Jimmy Butler took the team to 2 finals.
Yeah.
You've had a great history together, and for it to end like this is just frustrating.
Yeah, like you were saying, we talked about it when we first talked about this. The NBA is more than any other league. The superstars have more say than anybody else in the entire league.
For sure.
Whatever they say is gonna, whether they force the way out of a team or do whatever they say goes. And it's just crazy when you look at that compared to baseball, football, hockey, anything like that. It's nowhere near this crazy.
For sure. All right, Caden, what should these people do before they go?
You guys should like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Share this video with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that. Check out our website, theuntouchaballs.wordpress.com.
And don't forget to stay tuned for our other videos. Check out our NFL recap that came out yesterday, and look forward to our baseball pod coming out this Friday as well. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time.